We all love hyperloops and space jumps in scenes. Why not learn another simple technique on how you can create your very own, so that you can make videos where you seem like you're going through space at an infinite speed, continuously looping forever. In our default scene, we're going to go ahead and delete our default cube by pressing X and pressing delete. Then we'll add in a cylinder by pressing Shift A, mesh cylinder, and then we can rotate it on the X axis by 90 degrees and then pressing enter to confirm selection. After that, we can press tab to go into edit mode or use the drop down over here, and also press 3 or press this button to go into face select mode. Then just select this face, then turn and press Shift select this face to select both of them and press X delete faces. After that, you can press tab to go back to object mode. You can press S, Y, something like 10, and then press Ctrl A and then apply the scale. This is essentially where your particles are going to be present. So now you have to create the particles, and we'll be using a technique very similar to our previous video. You should definitely check that out over here in the top right corner, right after you're done watching this video. Now you can press Shift A, mesh, UV sphere, X, and press Ctrl and just move it to the side. Then you can just scale it down by pressing S and 0 point something really small, maybe 0.5, and then pressing Ctrl A and apply scale. Now, each of the particles will be assigned their own color. So the number of colors you want is the number of times you should duplicate this. So I'm just going to press Shift D, X1, and I will press Shift R twice so that we get 4 circles because I want 4 different colors. Then we'll just select all of them and press M and move them to a new collection by pressing new collection and calling these stars or whatever you want them to be. Then you can press OK. Now we're going to select this particular object, go down to the junction of these two windows here and click and drag to create a new window. And we're going to change this from the 3D viewport to the geometry node editor. Then we can press N to remove this side panel and press new to create a new geometry node tree. Now we can just search for a distribute points on faces node and plug that in right here. Remember to search, you press Shift A and then search for it. And we need these particles to go into these points. So we can press Shift A, instance on points, so that we can instance the particles onto the different points. And we need something to be instanced onto it. So we have all of these 4 in a collection, so we can just bring that collection in. So you can either search for a collection info node and plug that in and then choose the collection stars from this button, or you can take the stars from here, click and drag it in to get the same thing with stars already selected. So that's up to you how you want to do it. For now, I'll press X to delete it, and make sure that you check reset children as well as separate children, and then plug the instance into the instance of the instance on points node. Apart from that, right now, every single point has all 4 of the objects. We don't want that. So we're going to click pick instance, and now each point will have only 1 of the 4. Apart from that, the scale also increases a bit. So we're just going to reduce the scale over here down to something like 0.2, and we should be done with the particles. Of course, if you want it to be a little bit more dense, you can always increase the density or decrease it based on your preferences. I'll keep it as is, or maybe I'll slightly increase it to 15. Now I'm going to select my camera, press Alt G and Alt R to clear location and rotation, then RX 90 and then GY minus 10 so that it comes to the exact start of our cylinder. Remember, our cylinder starts off with a height of 2. We rotated it and scaled it by 10 units. So it became 20 units in length. And that's 10 units on this side, 10 units on that side. That's why we moved the camera by 10 units to bring it back here. Now we can select our camera once again, press 0 to go into the camera view, go to the camera properties down here, go to viewport display, increase passport out all the way to 1 so that we don't see anything outside our camera view. And we can also change the focal length to something really low to actually make it look like it's moving really fast. So we'll change it to something really small like 12. It also gives a nice distortion towards the edges, which adds a little bit more to the effect. Apart from that, we also don't require this lamp. We can just press X, delete to remove the lamp completely. Now for the particles, we actually have to give them different colors. So to see that, first we'll set all of our render defaults. So we'll go to the render properties over here, switch on bloom, switch on screen space reflections, and then go to our output properties, change the frame rate to 30 frames per second, end frame to 150 to create a 5-second long animation. Remember, we are going to make it loop, so you can just loop it to infinity. Change the output folder to wherever you want it to be. File format is going to be FFmpeg video, and encoding is going to be set from Matroska to MPEG-4 and an output quality of perceptually lossless. After that, we can select each of the spheres and give them materials, and it should show up on different particles over here. So let's first scroll up here and change this viewport display from solid to rendered. so that we can see what we're doing. Now let's select the first sphere, go to the material properties over here, add in a new material and change this window from the geometry node editor to the shader editor. Now let's select the principled BSDF, press X to delete it and just search for an emission node and plug that into the surface. Now I'm going to change this to a bluish color and just reduce the saturation maybe to something like 0.95 and increase the strength to something like 10 just to give it a nice bloom. Now we'll select sphere 001, use the drop down menu to give it the same material and then press this button to duplicate it so that it becomes its own material, and this time we'll just change the hue to something like 0.6 and then select the next sphere, press the drop down menu, select the previous material, make it its own user, change the color and change the hue to maybe 0.4. Then select the last sphere, again choose one of the materials, duplicate it and change the material, this time maybe 0.7 or a hue of 0.66. And that should be the variation in your colors. So you can clearly see we have the slightly bluish ones, the slightly greenish ones, and that's all right. Next, we'll change it from object to world and reduce the world color all the way to black. And apart from that, we'll press Shift A and search for a volume scatter node and plug that into the volume. Now we obviously don't want it to be this dense, so we'll change the density down to something like 0.2 or 0.3 based on your preference. Now to make this thing actually loop, what we're going to do is go out of our camera view by pressing 0, select it, and then press Alt D Y 20 so that we get another instance of it, and then just press Shift R to repeat that action. You can do this once or twice, and that should make sure that it perfectly loops when we actually add in the animation for the camera. So then we'll go back to the camera view, select our camera, go to frame 0 and press I, location. Then we'll just increase our timeline a little bit, go to frame 150 and then grab it on the y-axis by 20 units because remember, the cylinder was 20 units long. So then once you press 20, press I, location. And remember, it's set to Bezier, which means it's going to be slow at the beginning, speed up towards the center, and we don't want that. So we'll go down here, press T, and change the interpolation to linear. So now when you play it, you'll get a perfectly looping animation. And remember, because we have this volume scatter, the last little portion will anyways not be seen, and that's why the loop will be a perfect loop. So you can go to frame 150 and frame 0 to just make sure that all of the particles are the exact same, and that is perfectly all right. Now, apart from the very slight distortion that we have, we don't actually get that hyperloop effect. To get that effect, all you have to do is go to your render properties and check the box that says motion blur. Then expand the drop-down menu and just increase the shutter all the way to 1. That way, if you actually go to something like frame number 1 and then press render image, you'll see how the motion blur actually causes these streaks and you get that actual hyperlapse effect. So it really is that simple, and with just this much, you'll get a complete hyperlapse animation. I also have these 3 particles actually visible in my scene, so I don't want them to be visible. So all you have to do is just uncheck this box and they will not be seen. So that way the entire collection gets hidden. So there you have a different way of creating this hyperlapse. Many people use different techniques like particle systems and other such methods to create different effects. Some people use just the shader node, and it's really up to you to figure out how you want to do this. This is just another toolkit that you can use, and make sure that if you want to see another way of creating this looping wormhole effect, you check out the video on screen right now. Until you do that, make sure you stay tuned and subscribed, and until then, stay creative.